ML here from the first, the last, the Nerdom. I'm letting you all know that we are having a special catch-up week where we will be releasing extra episodes that we had recorded that we were not able to get out on time from the last couple weeks. With that being said,
welcome to the First Last podcast, the show from the First Last, the Nerdom, where we explore the strange, the stylish, and the unforgettable corners of cinema. This week, we're kicking off with something special with a bridge episode that connects two of our favorite themes. We're going from Giallo Month to our new focus, Innocence in the Dark. To cross that bridge, we couldn't pick a more perfect film than Phenomena, Dario Argento's 1985 cult classic that blends giallo, supernatural horror, and coming-of-age nightmare into something utterly singular. This is Argento in full dream logic mode, neon colors, brutal murders, pounding music, and a young protagonist trapped in a world that feels both magical and terrifying. Starring a very young Jennifer Connelly as a girl gifted or cursed with the ability to communicate with insects. Phenomena plays with themes of innocence, surrounded by corruption, beauty colliding with violence, and a child navigating horrors no one believes she can survive. It's part giallo, part fairy tale, and part pure Argento excess. In this episode, we'll be talking about how Phenomena functions as a transition between genres and themes, Argento's visual storytelling, and why this strange and polarizing film has only grown in cult status over the years. So step into the forest, follow the insects, don't trust what's hiding in the shadows. This is a First Last podcast from the First to Last of Nerdom, and our journey into Innocence in the Dark begins with Phenomena.
yes, it does. Great takedown intro, Tom. And while Tom set the table here, we are going to go right into it. We are the first, the last, the Nerdom. This is First Last Podcast, our weekly foray into a series or a special show that we like to present. As Tom introduced, this is the start of a new series of movies and shows this month, Innocence in the Dark. With that, I'm going to pass it back over to Tom because he has some bona fides. And as always, you can find our website, which is what I was on, the firstlastnerdom.com, as well as at First Last Nerdom on YouTube.
Yeah, and so Innocence in the Dark, just so you know, it's our kind of focus on children in horror. I had a tough time kind of figuring out what to call it without it sounding exploitational. But yeah, you can find me on Reddit under First Last Nerdom, which if you've come over from there, hello. But yeah, I try to promote our stuff in subreddits that will have us, that won't ban us or delete us. And also I'm on X under First Last Nerdom. So if you want to see our latest video being promoted there, it will be. And Mike, you have some socials as well.
I do. I am at Sofa King Jewish _, and sometimes me and Tom will banter back and forth, and that was true recently. I'm gonna go to your thing. And there's we're not really going to get into it. I just wanted to cover this because I love it. There's a lot of great, and maybe we'll do a special 2026 show where we look ahead to all the nerd properties that we're looking at. I'm particularly looking out at a very exciting sci-fi landscape in 2026. And this is part of it. Not saying that this is going to be in 2026, but there are other, a lot of great material this year. Dune Part 3. We got a Rendezvous with Rama. I believe that's coming out later. And then the Odyssey and good grief. One of my favorite movies, Project Hail Mary, our favorite books. With that being said, I'm going to transition over here to the main event. And as we were talking, I love this film. It's so unique. I didn't know it existed. It was something that I think it's been popping up over and over again since you've introduced Giallos to me within the last few years, and I've become an avid lover of this genre. It's just so much more interesting and engaging and I'm not saying anything bad about slashers or things that were later on, maybe had the DNA of a Giallo, but I love it because there's a lot of material there. Other people love what they do, but this one is just it's amazing to me that this is one is Jennifer Connelly. I definitely it's a different vibe, but this one has a reputation for being very unique, even for Dario Argento. And it almost edges just a little bit over, puts a toe or three over into the David Lynch ish kind of side of the world a little bit with it. It's a little bit more but I love the material. It handles it very seriously. As I am, I'm going to probably steal one of your points here, but as we're teeing it up here, didn't this was made in Italy, and then there was like an American half-assed version of this called Creepers or something, that was like horribly edited and truncated down or something like that. Or if you could tee us up, maybe I got the facts wrong. I don't know. What do you think, Tom?
Well, it was made in Switzerland in the
Okay, okay. Yeah.
Swiss Alps, filmed. But yeah,
I meant
it was
Italian movie. Sorry,
Italian
excuse me.
production. But yeah, so
Uh-oh.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So they came out with their cut of it, which was 116 minutes. There was an international cut that was 110 minutes. And then US, the distributor that picked it up, I think it was New Line. They they wanted to cut it down so they could put in another showing during the running of it. So they cut it down to 83 minutes, which what they mostly cut out was the first hour, a lot of the dialogue and information. So the last part where all the gore and violence happens, they kept that in. It was just the just the stuff at the beginning, the transitional and informational stuff that actually gives you context within it.
Right.
So it made even less sense. This movie isn't isn't the most logical. It's kind of got a dream logic. So once you cut out all the back stuff, the explanation, you're left with it's just a crazy movie. I remember I did at the time, the only version that was out in the US was the Creepers, which I did see rented it locally. I never saw it in the theaters, even though it did come out in the theaters. I wasn't aware of Argento in '85. It was when I got into college and started getting deep into horror movies, where Dario Argento's name, I kept running upon that. It's like, okay, I need to see some of this guy's stuff. And I saw Creepers, and then I believe I know I got like a bootleg copy. I don't know if it was the international cut or the 16-minute cut, but I did get a bootleg VHS copy of Phenomena, because this movie, of all of Argento's movies, it's not the best one, but it's my favorite. And then also Dario Argento says it's his personal favorite as well. It's just so over the top and just bananas that
Well, it's
you know.
unique. It's just, but even though it doesn't, some people may say that it ventures out in the silliness, and maybe that would be a perspective if you had seen the Creeper. I just know that it was a very crappy edit, and it was not very indicative. It didn't do any justice to the original material. Let's put it that way. But
It did make
with
me want to see the
yeah.
unedited copy of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, and
It-
that's good, and that is that is the best you can hope for a situation like that. But I don't have any I don't have any history with this, so this one was fun. I'm always a fan of Jennifer Connelly. Period. End of sentence. Whether it's and I had mentioned David Lynch. I just mentioned that because Lynch has a reputation for being very unique. And this kind of sort of hit a little bit. It hit it in a different way. It's not one to one at all, but it is very unique for what it is. I love the Goblin. Like I've heard, so one of the reviewers that I was reading complained about the random metal music. Well, apparently you're not familiar. If you have any history with Giallos and Dario, Goblin is a very welcome addition. It didn't put me out at all. It brought me in, and it was awesome that it didn't. Iron Maiden and Motörhead were also in the
and
soundtrack for this.
Alien Sex Gang as well.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one, but the other ones I am. Well, anyway, great music. I mean, obviously it's a taste, but I thought it worked for me. And this was this not Jennifer Connelly's first? Because I'm so up on buying Jennifer Connelly stock here. Wasn't this her first at bat as a
No.
major? No, oh, it wasn't. Okay,
Her first starring role, but she was in
okay,
Sergio Leone's sometime in the let's see it was I guess you could pull it up there, but it was
oh yeah.
Sergio Leone's movie. Um, let's see,
Let me go ahead and dig in.
uh, but yeah, just while we're vamping here, yeah. So this is Dario's. He'd done a few giallos. He was getting into kind of the mystical elements of things with Suspiria, with witches and whatnot. So this one was
Yes.
sort of like a blend of giallo and sort of the fantasy. Let's see, you got it there. Let's see. Yes,
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time in America. Once Upon a Time in America was the movie that he saw her in from his pal Sergio Leone, and decided that she needed to be his star of phenomena. In fact, he wanted to get her to play in opera, the movie that we talked about first in our Giallo month. But yeah, she was she wasn't a fan of this movie. She
Mm.
rarely talks about it. And if she does, it's only a sentence or two. I don't know if she's embarrassed by this movie or what, but yeah, she and also, she
I know she
she,
got bit.
yeah, she did get bit by the chimpanzee, Inga, or Tonga, is her real name. But yeah, evidently there was a scene where the chimpanzee kept turning her back, and Dario told Jennifer to kind of hold her in place, and Tonga didn't like that. From I've heard various stories of whether or not she bit off the tip of her finger or just bit it
That's what
really
I've heard too.
good.
Yeah.
but
Okay.
uh, but yeah, for what Jennifer said, yeah, she had to go to the hospital to get it reattached, and she didn't want anything to do with that ape after that. So
I don't, and she was a teenager too, wasn't she? She was not an adult. She was a teenager
yeah,
when this happened, right?
yeah, 13 or 14.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's born
yeah.
in '70s, so that would 85,
Mm,
84, 85. She would have been 14, 15. So she was very young, very impressive. We often talk about how child actors are not necessarily the greatest actors and actresses in the world, but the other thing too that was kind of cool. Dario always puts himself in these films too, which is kind of a fun little thing once you get to know that.
mm.
But his daughter wasn't his daughter also in this
Yeah,
as
his
well,
old well, he has 2 daughters, but yeah,
right?
Fioria Argento, she's at the beginning of the movie. She's the tourist that gets off the bus and or gets left off the bus, and unfortunately she meets the killer, so she gets get killed. She's in this one and another one, I believe, of his movies. And then she's in she's in Demons as well,
Hmm.
and she has a more substantial role in that. But yeah, she just really didn't get into acting, so
Mm.
she's only done a handful of them, and I think she had a kind of a rough time with doing this one because she's running around. And the particular area of the Swiss Alps are known for their winds. One of the things you notice in this movie is the winds are blowing like constantly in this, and there's sort of like that there's that superstition that those winds cause madness, but it also doesn't go well for directing as well, because you got those high. I think they also had some fans going, so she couldn't hear Dario's directing. So he kind of got frustrated with her because she wasn't understanding what he was wanting. And but anyway, it was kind of a
Oh, poor kiddo.
frustrating, yeah, frustrating experience for her. So she never really. Now her younger sister Aja is in a lot of Dario's movies going forward, and I
Right.
believe Aja was there. I believe she did like the voice of the young um kind of a creature at the end. Or, we'll get a little bit more into that towards the end, but but yeah, so yeah, it was a kind of a family affair. Even though they were kind of on the outs. His wife,
Yeah.
Daria, this was going to be her last film with him, but
Nickelodeon. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, but she did go ahead and do opera with him as well, even though they had since divorced. But yeah, sort of a family thing. And also his father. I think this was the last one he produced before he passed away, before they did opera. But yeah, this is
Right.
a good mix of this also this is him kind of maybe taking another stab at things, because with Suspiria he wanted a younger group of actors, teenagers, but the people producing it said no. So this one's it has really interesting kind of echoes of Suspiria, because it's another, instead of a ballerina school, it's just your basic private school in
Right.
the Swiss
Right.
Alps for the rich kids, the rich girls, and so yeah,
Richard Wagner's original home or whatever.
yeah.
Anyway, go on. Yeah.
But yeah, this time he was able to get a group of young teenagers, and he got it's more of a kind of a, a dream logic, and also kind of a fairy tale. And the weird, I think he also had this idea with either Suspiria, no, it was, I think, Tenebrae, where this is sort of like an alternate history
Mm.
where the Nazis have won. um
Oh, really?
I don't know
Right.
if there's any clear signs that this is the case, except maybe the strictness of the school. I don't know. But yeah, he's
I,
if you look at
I
Wikipedia, he does say that, yeah, it's sort of like a alternate
alternative.
history. Yeah, alternate.
I mean, that would make sense because it is kind of dealing with some out there kind of things, ESP and some things like that. I'm gonna launch my jokes here, and they're not really that great, but Jennifer Connelly plays Jennifer Corvino, and she's like the X-Men for bugs. She can communicate with them. So you have that, which is bonkers, but not too far out there. Especially for the set that we're talking about out there. If you're watching this, you know what I mean. You're a nerd. You're a comic book. We take these things in stride. And then the other thing I wanted to comment on too was she was the X-Men of bugs, but that you kind of get, and I really love this too, that we see this Donald Pleasence, who also is of fame from Halloween, and is just he's a staple, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed his role in this as the professor. He plays it in such a convincing way that, yeah, it's kind of out there, but you believe it. So it's so funny how this works. Like with the Giallo, you kind of have a little bit of a mystery, and this plays much more straighter to that. I think. It is, but it does kind of become CSI entomology lab, which is cool. Anyway, I'll throw it back
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah, so yeah, the basic story is you have a killer loose. He's killing or he or she is killing young women,
Right.
and then it turns around that, yeah, the people investigating this crime start getting bumped off as well. And like you said, Jennifer Connelly plays Jennifer, who has an affinity for bugs, and they to
Right.
her as well. She has a bit of telepathy with them. They can give her images of different people's deaths. So yeah, she's very, very attuned to that. And Donald Pleasance plays a professor, wheelchair bound professor, who has a helper chimpanzee
Mhm.
and he's a bug specialist.
Right.
They meet because of the chimpanzee. But yeah, the way Dario kind of got the germ of the idea of this is that he was listening to a program, and they were talking about how in America, some detective agencies, they use police detectives were
Mhm.
using insects and whatnot to date corpses and kind of help in the detective work. And he was very fascinated that, yeah, even flies and bugs can be detectives as well. So that was sort of the germ. Franco, I think you have his name there on the thing there. Fellini, I think is his name. But if you click on that, yeah, you get back to if you scroll up. But anyway, let's see. I've got it pulled up here.
Sorry, I am not seeing where you're talking about.
No, I was just looking at the top. Frank Ferrini. It was he
Frank.
actually came to Dario to write the script. Or he actually came to him with a script of his own, saying that he wanted to work with Dario, and Dario said that he only works on scripts that he actually writes on.
Right.
So he kind of rejected Franco's script, and but he liked the guy's ideas and wanted to work with him. So they're the ones that kind of fleshed it out. So this is the first time that they wrote together, so that may be why this movie is a little bit different than some of his earlier movies, because there's sort of a fresh voice in here. They went on to do opera. It's kind of nice that we've kind of paired or ended our giallos with this one, because it kind of ties in with opera. The first one we talked about in our month. Um, uh, Actually, this one came first, and then opera. So maybe we should have done those in reverse, but we like to do things differently. But yeah, and even there's a moment at the end in opera where they go to the Swiss Alps, back to the Swiss Alps, and there's like a movie director that's using bugs in one of his scenes, and it's sort of like a callback to what they actually did with this movie. So
Right.
it's interesting if you could do like a double feature of them both. It's I would suggest that. But it's two of my favorite Dario Argento movies. But yeah, Franco, this was his first time writing with him, and like I said, it's got a good flavor. And then they went on to do opera as well, but they've also done a few others as well. But I think these two are their biggest collaborations.
Yeah, they knocked it out of the park as far as I'm concerned, as it goes. But I was going to comment too on the Frau Bruckner. You know, he is very well, I don't know. Actually, no, it's sorry. That's not her. That's Nickelodeon.
Uh-huh.
It's Dalia Di Lorenzo, like this chick right here, I believe, on the
Hmm.
screen.
Yeah.
She's the headmistress or whatever. Anyway,
Uh-huh.
she's a real battle axe, really setting the rules, just like you would want in a headmistress or what, which is fine.
Mhm.
I just thought it was very funny. Um, Jennifer Corvino, like her dad is on the poster that they're talking about. So she's got a million of them. Anyway, the the one girl across the way on the bed there, she was smoking, so she had a quick hide it. Didn't do a very good job. Got caught. But then again, she didn't really get in too much trouble. She got warned. But I find it so funny. She's getting after him about that with the stupid poster. But what is there as she leaves? A TV. I was like,
Yeah.
you wouldn't want to, if you're going to be micro. Anyway, I thought that was funny. Anyway, just a
Yeah,
silly
yeah,
little
and
thing, but yeah.
and also to note, the headmistress, they tried to get Isabella Rossellini as the headmistress, and but she was actually doing Blue Velvet at the time, so and Blue Velvet was probably the better choice for her with David Lynch, because who could imagine that one without Isabella. Also, the father, you only see the father in the posters, but they actually wanted to get Al Pacino as the father so that you would see posters of him around and stuff, but Al Pacino didn't want to do that, so he turned
Yeah,
them down.
I could kind of see there might have been a couple things on the script that may have,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, I
made
think
him.
his thing was he didn't want to be the father to a daughter that he's not involved with or something. I don't know. It was kind of weird,
Oh
but yeah, Donald Pleasance, great job. One of the things about this movie is the acting isn't the best.
no, no.
Overall, yeah, even Donald with his Scottish accent was at 100%, but you do believe in his character. You kind of and you enjoyed the relationship. There's kind of a sweet kind of father daughter relationship between Donald Pleasance and Jennifer Connelly in their respective roles. And then even though the chimp is maybe chimped out a little bit during this movie, she's actually a pretty decent actor in this. In fact, I think the New Yorker or New York Times kind of really tore apart the movie, but said that the ape would most likely uh win best primate, best actor primate in a movie because of their performance. But yeah, they are sort of like the glue that kind of holds this movie together. But outside that, the acting, not top notch, but just the visuals and I don't know, the everything makes sense within the logic of the movie, but if you kind of looked at it kind of from critical lenses, the things kind of start to fall apart. But it's a beautifully shot. I mean, the Swiss Alps, totally in love with it. From the very beginning of the movie, you got those gorgeous pastoral, those forest, and then the kind of idyllic kind of village there with the nice little the houses and whatnot. You just fall in love with the look of this movie. And then it's like I said in the intro, you've got the neons, blues. For the most part, it's a very blue movie. Someone kind of likened it to Possession. That kind of. But I think it's not quite that. There's maybe moments of that, but
Yeah.
overall, it's a
I,
much more brighter movie and
I,
more
I
more
didn't get
fairy tale.
I didn't get possession at all from it, but I do I understand the it's a dark brooding movie, but its visuals are not dark and brooding all the time.
And the
Like you would
music,
expect. Right.
and the
Right.
music really kicks it up a notch. Right? When you can't help if they're taking out the Donald Pleasence. Sorry about the spoilers, but he gets killed a good portion about halfway through the movie,
Yeah.
and
It's like
they're
Mac.
taking out
Yeah.
his corpse with the sheet over it, and the Motorhead kicks in, and you're you can't help but your blood and adrenaline kind of kicks up a notch as well when that happens, and you're kind of rocking out to it. But yeah, this movie really kicks it up as far as the music. And actually, I noticed, yeah, this is the only movie I've seen it, but in the credits after the actors are put in, you immediately have the music credits for the different bands and whatnot. You got Bill Wyman, you got Simon Boswell, Alien Sex Fiend or Sex Gang Fiend, or Alien, whatever they're
Right.
called. And you got Motorhead, and you got Iron Maiden playing. But yeah, you got those very much in the forefront. And actually, this being Jennifer Connelly's her second movie, she gets top billing even above the title credits of the movie. So this is I guess Dario thinking that she was going to be a pretty big deal, and that even though at the time she wasn't, she did her next movie after this was Labyrinth, so obviously she had some good things in her future there.
Oh God. It's just I didn't mean to show that one, but yeah, yeah, she does a very good job. I mean, she's not. I mean, she's not the best actress either. You can tell, like she's there's a little bit more more experience for her to have. But for the most part, I mean, this is just it is engaging, and even with the monkey and the kind of the bonkersness of it, it works. Like it works, and I like I enjoy I enjoy the vibe. I guess is what you would call it. Like it's just
Yeah,
such a uniquely Argento, Giallo, like that has its own kind of spirit that
yeah,
you wouldn't get. Actually, I was thinking like this would be the most. Okay, this isn't going to win any awards or whatever, but I'm surprised that they haven't gone back and maybe they knock out the monkey part or whatever. But like how they have not remade this into something more modern, that is literally in a demographic that they covet You know, I don't know, but you would
Well,
think that they would have done, and maybe they do for all I know. I didn't really do
well,
research for like if there was a live
yeah,
cult around this movie.
no, I think Dario's sold the rights to this one along with Suspiria. So yeah, Suspiria's gotten remade. So I'm sure
Right.
this will probably get remade at one point as well. But yeah, the band I was thinking of is
Perfect. I mean,
Sex. And if we do get comments, sorry, I'll correct myself. It's Sex Gang Children. They have several songs on this album, on the soundtrack, and Goblin, like Mike said, is on here with several tracks, two of which they reused from Dawn of the Dead, which they did the soundtrack for that. And at that time, Goblin wasn't really Goblin anymore. It was mainly Claudio Simonetti. So he's credited as well on the soundtrack. But yeah, killer soundtrack. Um, I don't believe I had it until I will bring out, I'm the physical media guy. Synapse has got I got the Blu-ray. They've since come out with a 4K. I don't know if I'll upgrade to 4K. I probably will at one point, but the Blu-ray looks amazing. And I've got I say I don't really care for still books, but I do like them. I don't necessarily want to pay extra for them. But this is a really nice one. It's got the Italian movie poster on the front, which I really like. Kind of got that fairy tale vibe. And then on the back, you've got the US movie poster for it, which is more going for horror, obviously. Very cool. But in mine, I got the original set, which came with with 3 disc. You got your two. You've got all three versions. You've got the 116-minute version. You've got the international cut 110, and you also have the creeper version, and they remastered and redid all three of those. And then you got like a documentary, a old archive documentary back when they were making a Phenomena, about hour and 10-minute documentary with Dario Argento talking, kind of talks mainly about Phenomena, but kind of covers all of his movies up to that point. And there's also a commentary on there. There's also the soundtrack on the limited editions. I think on this website now you just get the 2 disc version, minus the soundtrack, but I do have the soundtrack because I got the original version, and I don't know if it's still a steelbook, or if they've changed it to the more plastic one. But yeah, really cool. Love that. And also, I'm sure I'll be promoting it on Reddit on Tubi's site. And the cool thing I noticed about Tubi is they've got the original Italian version of it, the 116-minute long version. Now, that it only really came out in the US because of this. When I finally got a legit, you may be scorning me for getting the bootleg back in the day, but that was the only way I could have actually seen it at
yeah,
that time. But in the 90s, Anchor Bay did come out with the 110-minute version of it, which I did see on DVD, and I have it. I used to have it in storage, but it's back in the shed in my house now. But yeah, I do have the wonderful Blu-ray now, but of all three versions. But yeah, if you're watching Tubi, that they don't have the highest resolution, but you're seeing the most uncut version of it. So and I think Mike, that maybe was the version you saw.
yeah. I actually ended up going to the Sail in the High Seas because I was really frustrated at the. It was okay. Yes, I did. I watched part of it. I had to stop because I have a fascination with giallos and I love them. And I
Mhm,
wanted to I had to see it full quality. And I was
mhm,
kind of short for time, so I did reach for the torrent, and I may or may not have found a really great version of it. But
mhm.
um, I all the folks out there know that I will absolutely buy the Blu-ray, which we will highlight a little bit later on for how you can get your hands on a really good on both either Tom's version or something that has just as much great content of it. The only downside to those are like sometimes. Did you get a chance to listen to any commentaries, or did they have any commentary on any of them? And if they were
Yeah,
they worth a damn or good, or because it's kind of hit or miss for some older '80s movies.
yeah.
Um,
They did on this one. Yeah, they're actually a pretty decent. Yes,
Grief.
there is a commentary on the 110-minute version of it. And they do. It's a lady that did a book on Dario Giallo's. So, and then the other guy is a historian that did the I think the foreword for her book. So they seem to be to know each other and had a good conversation. She had a lot of information that I wasn't privy to prior to that. And she knows Dario personally. She was on the set of his movie Sleepless. So and she also seems to know Aja as well. So she gave some personal anecdotes that of her interactions with Dario. He I think during when they were filming Sleepless, she got attacked by mosquitoes, and and Dario mentioned that when he saw her. So, oh, you don't look so good. You got the bugs have attacked you, and she said yes, and he says it's probably because of your light skin. They can see your blood vessels. She goes yes. Yeah, she said
That's
that
funny.
Dario is very energetic and very she said that he was kind of reinvigorated by his by childhood in this movie. It
Yeah.
really kind of stirred up the fairy tale within him, and he had fun kind of playing around with the young actresses, and I think during one of them was doing makeup and she had to leave the room. When she came back, Dario was on the floor playing like he was dead. So he was a little bit of a scamp, kind of playing around with the kids. So um made for probably a fun environment. But yeah, at that time he
Did
was
they
uh,
appreciate that?
well
Or do they say
yeah, for what I understand, yeah, they had a good time on the set.
good, good, good?
And Donald Pleasence, he seemed to enjoy himself on the set. He maybe it was kind of befuddled by the plot of the movie, but he really enjoyed the energy that Dario kind of brought to the set, and it really appreciated his eye for detail and getting the shots right, and doing the best he can. Also, Dario, at that time was probably at the height of his career and popularity. He was a bit of a rock star at that point. So, and the interview, the little documentary that they had on that, which was filmed at the time, you can tell he was kind of letting a little bit of it go to his head. He was talking about, playing the murderer in his movies, being the hands of the killer during those scenes. And he's saying, I'd probably be a pretty good murderer because I've got so much experience now. You can tell he was really kind of feeling the vibes of who he was at that time. Yeah, how could you not, if yeah,
Right.
everybody's speaking your name and saying you're the master of horror. It's probably going to go. And speaking of masters of horror, I did get a lot of Stephen King vibes from this movie. There's a lot of influences
Yeah.
kind of shown in this movie. You got the hair blowing, a la Firestarter, and the
Right.
movie really has kind of some of the same DNA of Carrie, with the other girls at the school kind of tormenting the Jennifer character.
Right.
But yeah, and it's yes, it's firmly planted in the middle of the 80s, made in 1985. Really kind of, you really can't take the 80s out of this movie. And also I will have to say, there if you watch the credits at the beginning of the movie, can't help seeing Giorgio Armani's name on there, and he provided all the outfits for Jennifer Connelly in this movie. She looks immaculate, looks wonderful in all of her outfits throughout this
Right.
movie. She really kind of stands out with her fashion.
Well,
And
well,
yeah,
I wanted to comment on that too. Like, I mean, with the subject material and the ages of the actors involved, I thought they did a very good, tasteful job of the cuts, the scenes, the war. You know, it was approachable from does that make any sense? Like the material that was shown. Like, I mean, I thought it was pretty on the nose. I mean, not horrible or anything, which I appreciated. It is
right.
85, but it definitely, but it doesn't have the American kind of film feel because this obviously has a European feel with Dario. It's not outright Italian. I mean,
Mhm.
I don't care if it was made in the Swiss Alps or whatever, wherever the hell it was. Doesn't matter. It's still Italian. I mean, it
Mhm.
comes across as the fingerprints on it are is what I mean. But anyway, I think you know what I'm
Right.
talking about with that.
Yeah, yeah, it's clearly Dario's movie, and he's
Right.
Italian, so it's
His
got
baby, yeah.
his angle on it. But yeah, and it's a nice mix. There is debate over, because I when I was thinking of movies for giallos, I really wanted to do. I really, since it's my favorite movie phenomena, I wanted to include it, and I was like, "Is it considered a giallo?" And I researched it online, and Chat GPT seemed to think it was, and Gemini seems to think it is. And it's got the elements of a Giallo. I don't know if it's strictly Giallo, and that's why we didn't include it completely into our Giallo month. But it's a nice synthesis. You do have like a young amateur detective working with her detective insects. There is a mystery as to who the killer or killers may be. And this movie has all the elements of a movie that I would enjoy. You've got the kind of it's horror as well. You got the horror aspect. You got the fairy tale aspect. I'm very big into fantasy, as you know. So it's got that element, and I've always been fascinated by monkeys, chimps, any type of apes. I love. So when the chimpanzee appears, I'm immediately drawn in. I lean in and okay, what's going on now? So if they do remake it, they better damn well have that chimp in there. But of course it would be a CGI chimp at this point. But
Oh god, Jesus Christ, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I know, you're right, they probably would be. I mean, they just don't film things the way that they used to film at all
well, it's
whatsoever, and
a chimpanzee is dangerous.
well, of course, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you don't have to tell, you don't have to tell me that. I know a few people who have gotten fucked over that, because of a, animal, owner of an, exotic animal didn't take precautions, and it went out and hurt people. Anyway, and so they are not to be there wild creatures, not to be underestimated. But anyway,
and
but with the chimpanzee monkey thing there, it absolutely could be done today. Again, I see that Hollywood is all about trying to cater to the youth. I mean, you have this story's timeless. I mean, it doesn't have to be set in 1985. It could be set really anywhere. I mean, but it is what it is. So I'm
yeah.
glad that we have the version that we do because I will agree with you. The some of the this has a little bit of a roughness to it, a little bit more so than others. But you kind of forget that because you forget because I love Dario and I love Jealous,
Yeah.
but and it is a unique take on Giallo. So it is kind of it has its own unique thing. So it is Giallo like in some things, and it's completely different in others. But it's still on the path of being there. And as far as I'm concerned, if Dario said that this a ham sandwich was a giallo, then I would believe him. I mean, not quite, but you get the picture.
Yeah. Oh,
I was
and
gonna
I
say,
was
oh, go ahead.
I was going to mention the special effects in this movie are pretty decent.
Yeah.
And some of the things that they did was was pretty inventive. There is a scene early on where we learn of Jennifer's ability with insects. There's a scene where a bee gets loose in the cab ride, and her school teacher that's with her freaks out and whatnot. The way they did that was they had the instead of a bee, they had a hornet, and gave it ether to kind of knock it out, so they could manipulate it. They took out the stinger and tied a little nylon thread to it so they could direct it with it being on the string there, nylon string, and they had cut out the top of the cab, roof, sort of like a can opener, and they built this kind of structure over it, kind of hot box up above it, and they
Really?
had the guy that was orchestrating the Hornet up in that box, and he had the string and the Hornet, and was kind of manipulating, kind of like a puppet, kind of dragging it around there. So very inventive. It sort of kind of shows you that at the end of opera as well, with the director with his manipulation of the insect tied to a nylon string. But yeah, very very kind of cool. And I believe there's a scene. Well, there is a scene in the movie where Jennifer. Is being tormented by her schoolmates, and yeah, that scene. And they
Right.
have the insects that come, the flies, kind of come around the school, and um I think they had like a steel frame, and they had like coffee grounds that they they kind of moved around on that film panel to kind of create the the kind of swarm of flies. But they were very inventive with all of that. There's a scene where
You were.
um, a character gets covered in flies, and they they kind of had him
There we
in
go.
this kind of enclosure, and they had like some sweet glucose or whatever covering his body so it would be attracted by the flies. So yeah, and I mean, they had millions and millions of flies kind of covering that guy. And at the end of the scene, they were like, "Okay, we'll just release the flies." All these flies kind of attack the the
God.
local businesses down town in the Swiss Alps. So that was, I guess, fun for them for a little while. But yeah, but yeah, you kind of had to, where all of those scenes now would have been done by CGI, of course. They really
Right.
had to be kind of inventive, and it's kind of fun. That was sort of like the fun of movie making back then, is trying to figure out how to do those scenes and do them to where they don't look ridiculous. Also, he really had to kind of concentrate and film in a way so that he didn't want the chimpanzee to be kind of comical in this movie. Uh, there's the chimpanzee is supposed to kind of be like the or the creature that you first may think that maybe possibly the killer. So
Right.
because she shows up, her first scene, she shows up with a with a scalpel, reminiscent of a Edgar Allan Poe story. um, Mask of the Red Death, and and so yeah, you're immediately thinking, oh, maybe she's the killer, but yeah, she's just very loyal to her human, Donald Pleasance. Even though there's not that love between Jennifer and the chimpanzee, but
Right.
during the scenes with Donald Pleasance and the chimpanzee, you do get the sense that they they have a fondness for each other. There's um, and I don't know if that's the movie magic, or if there really was a good bond between them, but yeah, it's kind of fun to see that.
Yeah, they had good chemistry. The others, Jennifer's interactions with the other girls too, for the most part, I thought worked. I love the scene. Like, this is just kind of like that. Dario knows how to do contrast with color and light. That set so many of these apart that I love. Where again, not a little bit into this. They didn't lean into it too much. Again, this could have taken place anywhere, really. But like the idea of Transylvania of the Alps, okay, sure. But uh, creepy. In other words, it's creepy. And there's a monster out there, or some freak or creep or whatever. But I liked it. I just love the visuals. I just, I mean, this is why when I started to watch it on loop, or whatever, or not loop, but the other one, Tubi. I was like, okay, like I need to see this in high quality and enjoy it. And that's invariably what I have. Some of these can be background movies. This is the problem. When I put it on and it's something of interest, I can't. I don't want to see it on my computer screen. I want to see it on my
Mhm,
big TV screen, just
mhm.
to be able to see those. And I don't know. God, it's just so good. And of course, just the iconic glass death through by glass beheading. That's the other thing too that this movie plays with quite a bit. That there's
A
heads roll
lot
around.
of decapitations, yeah, a lot of
Yeah,
yeah, the very first one in the kind of the waterfall was yeah, that really caught me, the first time I saw it. I was like, "Oh, whoa, okay. This is this
yeah,
type
yeah,
of
yeah,
movie." But, because you're kind of, taken aback because, you know, you're looking at all the beautiful scenery and then, "Oh, decapitation." But expecting that.
yeah.
But, I found the quote, let me read you this. Is a
Please.
little paragraph by Dario Argento. His idea of this movie being an alternate history. When I was thinking of phenomena, I imagined that between 1940 and 1945, there had been a very serious incident, the war, and that the Nazis had won. After 34 years, the people have wiped this dramatic event from their memories and didn't talk about it anymore. In reality, though, the Nazis won the war, and life, therefore, was has totally different vibe. It's a world where the Nazis order won. If the movie is watched attentively, then it is obvious that from that
Hmm,
perspective, whoever made it was working from this principle. So,
hmm.
here's my challenge to you: the next time you watch it, watch it with that in mind and see if that makes more sense to you or not.
I
I started
I
watching it with that in mind and had thought about it from time to time, but I think you still don't have to think about it that way in those terms.
I mean, I'll watch it again. I mean, I did catch up like one thing, the Richard Wagner thing, but I mean, that's it's I don't know. I'll have to. Oh, that's a good perspective. I kind of caught a little bit of. I mean, it's a weird universe anyway. I guess.
Uh-huh.
I don't know that bears a rewatch. That bears a rewatch and maybe an
Uh-huh.
addendum. Maybe we'll have to do that, and then maybe some time will have to pass, and we'll have to revisit it and see if we can put on some some of those movie goggles uh, for the Indiana Jones. I hate Nazis or what? Bad joke. Anyway. Can't stick the landing. Keep my day job, which I will. Yeah, the Inga the chimp. She the chimp's kind of like the kind of I guess in a way. It's kind of weird too. You were drawing comparisons to that. It's funny how different objects or people or things play the moral compass, so to speak, or kind of a rightness of civility or decency, I guess. Which
Uh-huh.
is funny because the chimp would show that in this one, and the other ones that we've looked at. There was the village one. It was one of the village ones, like where oh god, the unexpected party would play the moral compass of the world. But anyway, I won't go too much into that. But
Yeah, yeah, there is kind of like somewhat kind of a totalitarian society kind of vibe to it.
vibe, yeah,
Like as soon as you know, Jennifer kind of showed signs of having supernatural abilities, they immediately wanted to throw her into a psychiatric facility, and you know, she's constantly trying to get away from the authority, you know, and it's kind of surprising. Like late in the movie, she's trying to get out of town, trying to leave, and she's trying to get her father. She can't even talk to her father. She has to talk to his accountant to get out of there. Trying to get money, and the at the bank, there's that kind of a ginger haired guy that's trying to help her out, trying to find the you know the thing that comes through for her money. And he's sort of like only one of the very few outside of Donald Pleasance helpful adults there that is trying to help her out. And then tied to that, I do have to talk about how Dario Argento writes. A lot of his protagonists are women. A lot of
Hmm.
his main characters are women, and
There
they're
was a strong female aspect in this
yeah,
film too.
yeah,
There was the
very
maternal.
very strong female
Right.
character. She's very assertive. A lot of times with the fairy tale, the the heroine of a fairy tales oftentimes sort of kind of meek and mild, and everything kind of happens around her. She's kind of like the witness to the goings on, but she's very much an active participant in this movie. Jennifer Connelly is very strong, very when things are kind of thrown at her, she doesn't kind of crumple and go, oh, woe is me. She's actively trying to change her environment, and she's actually pursuing the the killer at one point. So try and track him down with her ever handy fly. And
Right.
also the male there's very few males in this movie, and those the most prominent one, played by Donald Pleasence, is kind of impotent. He's in a wheelchair. He's very ineffective. He can't really protect Jennifer. So she's kind of have to kind of stand up to her own, and yeah, and usually with a woman, and you have insects in the movie. She's kind of shrieking and trying to get away from the insects, whereas kind of plays against type in that Jennifer loves the bugs. And at one point, she does have a scream. It's because she sees a person. The bug is communicating a killing to her, and she's reacting to the killing and not the bugs, the maggots in a glove. Usually the girl would scream because she put her hands in the glove and there's maggots. No, she's cool with the maggots. It's just the killings that kind of bother
Right.
her. So that's kind of playing against type, and really is a interesting way of looking at it. And again, I love the aspect of it. And we talked about the Stephen King influence of this movie. And he does have some pretty strong female protagonists as well. But there's also a heavy influence towards the end of the movie of Friday the 13th. I don't know if you want to get into that, because that kind of gets into spoilers.
Yeah, I'm ready. I think we're almost north of an hour. We're a couple minutes from that point. So yeah, I'm down if you're down. Yeah. So if you've been in this long and you don't want to know what happens, well, now's the time to dip out if you want to get into it. But yeah, Professor McGregor, he didn't last very long. There's not a lot of male thing. Also, the other thing too, did you catch the weird kind of vibe with the house? Like where they did you notice that they covered the mirrors?
Yeah,
At
yeah,
all? Yeah, that was kind of weird. That kind of echoes a little bit like where structures have some kind of like a I don't know, some kind of a something else going on. And that was true in the house with the laughing windows or whatever, or the
yeah.
whatever, smiling
Well, yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
That
Well,
one,
they're yeah. In this one, they were covering the mirrors so that the little son wouldn't see himself in the mirror, his
right,
ugly
right,
visage. But yeah,
right.
it comes to find out that her young son is actually going around killing the women. There's actually two killers in this movie, which is kind of interesting. The mother protecting, kind of trying to cover up uh the killings of her young son, which I guess he's supposed to be, because she was raped by a madman, a la kind of similar
Asia
to
Arctic, yeah.
similar to Nightmare on Elm Street, but but yeah, so she's raped, and this creature guy is the spawn, which was, I think, the movie said 15 years ago. So he's 15, so he's a little small for his age. Looks like a little toddler, played by a small person. I guess that's the appropriate way to say it now. But yeah, and he's disfigured. I forget. I can look up the disease that he's supposed to have. That's a real disease. Although they people that suffer that don't usually get out of infancy with that disease.
Okay.
But it kind of yeah, it's almost from what I understand, it almost makes you kind of Cyclops with one eye almost, and it kind of messes up your jaw. But yeah, it's it's not a good thing to have that happen to you. But yeah, he had heard about this, and he kind of based that kind of look off of him, and but yeah, so you got that. You got the two killers. Um, let's see. I think let's see.
Yeah, Daria Nicolodi is
Yeah,
the mother of
plays.
the this child. And by the way, if you can't see it on the screen, those little white things there for the audience out there, if you can't quite see it, those are maggots. they're just they're that's from the still frame. Anyway, it just gives you an idea. And boy, they hit the practical effects again. They're probably not the best ever that I've seen, but they're effective enough to, like you were mentioning, like you're just like, oh my god, like you kind of conceptually know that something horrible is going to happen, and maybe you're one of those people that can call it, call the shots. All good for you. If you can, great. I'm not saying nothing bad about it. I'm just saying I'm not that guy, but I can see some things coming. But like when they do, it's like
Mhm.
whoa, or like
Yeah,
you do have that jump
yeah,
factor at least a little bit. Not quite
yeah,
like shock jump like a slasher modern, going from
right.
that to modern versions of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, called the Patau syndrome,
Okay.
Patau. It's actual syndrome. It's causes chromosomal, abnormality. So, yeah,
Okay.
I wouldn't, probably recommend you look up images of it 'cause, from what I heard,
No.
it's not a good thing. But yeah, so they had, that in mind with this. So he's not having a good time. He has, something, and at the beginning of the movie, evidently it seems like the mother's got him kind of chained up downstairs. He gets loose and starts killing women, young women.
With a spear of all things too, like with
Yeah,
a like,
yeah,
so I'm sure maybe there's a better reason, but I couldn't ascertain it. But I just thought that was
yeah,
it's just interesting, it's
yeah.
just like one more kind of quirky,
Yeah, yeah,
things.
yeah. There's not like over sexuality to this movie. Although
No,
at
not
one
really.
point when he first originally was setting up the movie, he did envision some nude scenes with Jennifer, and Jennifer and her parents refused to do those, so those were cut out of the movie before they started shooting. But there is sort of like the sexual vibes going on because the kid's killing with the spear, very phallic. And at one point, he kills, or his mother actually kills, Donald Sutherland character. You got a man that's sort of impotent in a wheelchair being
Right,
killed by
right.
kind of a
Okay.
phallic thing, and you got
Right, right, right.
these young girls, feel dressed in the kind of white virginal
Right.
outfits being killed
Throughout the
with the
yeah, right.
yeah, with sort of a spear. So there's
Well, it's to add on to that though. I mean, it is an all girls school, and in a way, I mean that kind of they represent because they're always wearing white or lighter colors or clothes or
Mhm.
whatever. It's for innocence, but that's kind of like the Vestal Virgins, essentially, is what
Right.
the school stands in as. Like
Yeah.
if you want to get. I didn't think about that. I guess I
Mhm.
guess it is phallic like that. I get that is so true. But and that is the corruption out of the corruption of motherhood from an
Yeah.
act that was, that was
Mhm.
violative. That's another connective tissue that giallos have is the
Mhm.
corrosive nature of evil or evil acts and how
Yep.
they kind of explode across a situation.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I love the whole third act of the movie. Kind of after Donald Pleasence's character gets killed, there's like that last half hour where it's just sort of dual vibes. You're following both the chimp and Jennifer. They're both kind of set loose. They're having to find their own path. The chimp's on her road to vengeance, whereas Jennifer still doesn't know who the killer is and is just want to get out of town. But she gets roped in by the mother. And I love that whole last act where she's in the house. The mother's trying to drug her. But it kind of culminates with the Iron Maiden song and her trying to get
Mhm.
that phone. That she's up on that chair and she's going through that top window of the bathroom and she's got that stick trying to get the phone. I just that's so cringy. You're like you wanted her to get that phone and you got the
Right.
rock music going and yeah. Something happens. Yeah, she hears that scream, and the phone gets knocked down, and then she has to try to go for it. Try to go for it again, and it tumbles down that little hole in the floor in the bathroom, and then she has to go and she has to crawl down that hole. A very very kind of Alice in Wonderland esque in that nature. She's crawling down into this different world, and she ends up and these hands come out and pull her into this room, and she ends up in this sort of kind of swimming pool of maggots and death and bones, and yeah, that the whole that whole last act of it is just kind of over the top, grotesque, and filled with kind of nail biting moments. And yeah, it just kind of
It,
wins. If it hasn't won you over at that point, it definitely does at the last bit.
Yeah, I guess this kind of makes sense now that I'm thinking about it. It is very fairy tale like.
Yep.
This is probably a little bit set up a little bit more like that. I mean, opera was obviously kind of that was a little bit more meta that kind of takes you out of that feeling for me. And opera was just right down the road from this one. Um,
Mhm.
the I can see where I think this is very good. This is one of his more generous films.
Mhm.
To the generous to the heroine. The way that it it portrays that it beauty and disgust.
Mhm.
In both equal measure. A fairy tale. You
Yeah.
have this
Yep.
that so it works for me, and I really enjoyed it for that too. And it's completely different than Tenebrae or
Mhm.
Suspiria or opera.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of makes me sad that this is like but anyway, I digress. This is the one where you buy the 4K restoration, highest quality you can get, that you can bear, because it's worth it, especially in physical media to like where who knows what
Mhm.
we're like. We're just in the good part of the decade, like where all this stuff is accessible, and then we can actually get to it,
Mhm.
with money, you know,
Right.
because in another decade or so, or half a decade, these things are going to rotate out of fashion, and that's the sucky part. But if you have it in your in your cubby hole or a little media library, whatever, physical, you
Mhm.
can always pop it back in and enjoy it, no matter
Yeah.
what.
Yeah, it's a wonderful time because you have physical media, and you also have something like Tubi, where all these wonderful horror movies that you might have found, a couple of decades ago or last decade on Netflix, they've all kind of gravitated towards Tubi, and they have a really great collection of horror movies. But you're at the mercy of Tubi, if they go to the wayside, all those movies, where are they going to be posted at. So yeah, if you love a certain movie, you probably want to get the if you can get the physical media version of it. Which kind of leads us to I gave you a couple of links if you wanted to pull those
Yes.
up.
Yeah. Let me pull those up here. And
Yep. So yeah, there's the 4K which came out. It's the two disc. Yeah, I think it's basically the same that I've got, but it's on 4K. It is in I think the black clamshell box plastic. And then there's I'll also give you the link to the one that I close to the one I've got, the Blu-ray there, the other link. So I don't know if that's still a steel book or not, but yeah, it's got the two disc. Doesn't have the soundtrack to it. So these are what's available here in America, Region A version. Now they do have a Region B, 4K, which almost 99% of 4Ks are region free. There are some that aren't, but okay, it's still say the release
this
is
is
not the
not the
same.
same as the
Okay, the
previously
steelbook.
released
Yeah.
Steelbook edition.
So
So, but
so so
still,
yeah, yeah. So I've got the rare steelbook. So you know, you may be able to find it resold at a higher price on eBay, but you could do a little search. But again, if the soundtrack's not your main focus, then you know, you can still get the movies portion of it. But yeah, in the UK, on the UK Arrow Films version, they do have their version of the 4K as well. Which if I do get a 4K, I may go ahead and Arrow is in like a bow and arrow. But yeah, films, yeah, Arrow Films. But yeah, they have the 4K of it, and it's
My
probably a
horrific spelling.
you get there. But yeah, so if you don't mind, again, it's 4K,
That
so
is
it's
cool.
still play. So some of the extras may not play unless you have a region free one. But this one
That is
does
just really good
have,
looking.
yeah, this one does have. I just noticed a documentary done specifically for Arrow, that has new interviews with Fioria, Argento, and Dario as well. So I'm really tempted to get it for that documentary. And also, there's it looks like a music video that Dario did called Jennifer. I don't know what that is. That's on this, so that would be interesting to see as well. So yeah, if you've got that this version of it, you could let us know in the comments down below. Tell us what your favorite Dario movie is. This one's mine. It's one of those ones that bucket list movies I wanted to talk about, and I wanted to wait till we're kind of had a few shows behind us to maybe do with this justice. Hopefully, we did. Let us know if we did. And yeah, again, I could probably talk about this for another hour or two, but I think we'll probably wrap it up there, unless Mike had something else he wanted to let us know about.
Go see this. This is just fun. It's completely different take. It has a timeless feel. But I really love,
Mm-hmm.
again, Jennifer Connelly, is
Yeah.
absolutely perfect in this. And so is Donald, Pleasance,
Mhm.
and supporting cast too around him. I mean, you really believe the Frau
Yeah.
Bruckner,
Yeah.
Nickelodeon's, to
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
creature.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The
Yeah. It's
bowel.
like, yeah, like I said, it's probably not the best Dario Argento
Mm-mm,
movie, but it's my
not
favorite.
at all.
It's definitely
Yeah,
hits that sweet spot for me. It's definitely my favorite.
I can see where this will absolutely climb up the ranks for me personally, because I've already seen it a couple times for this week, just for like, well, 1.5 times, I guess, or one and a quarter total. But um, and well, a little bit more than that. Sometimes I go back and watch parts that get called out. But this is one for you out there, and if you've been with us for this long, we really do appreciate it. We have been doing this thing. We had a little bit of a hiccup last week, so you'll see a little bit more maybe episodes than we normally would release in a week. But
Hmm.
keep an eye out for that. And this has been. Innocence in the Dark, first entry this month with
Hmm.
Phenomena with
Yeah.
Dario Argento, Giallo time.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
Anything
Yeah.
else?
No, yeah, Innocence in the Dark again, Children in Peril, or Children in Horror. But yeah, we've got some good ones. There's two movies that came out last year, big horror movies, that we've been wanting to
Huge.
talk about. So
Uh huh.
which involves children in one aspect or another.
Yeah,
So good theme for us. But yeah, Phenomena kicks off it, kind of the bridge episode between Giallo and this. Let us know in comments if this one tickles your fancy. Again, let us know if you think this is a giallo or more of a
absolutely.
horror movie. But yeah, I'm Tom, and I'm here with ML.
We'll
See
see
ya.
you next week.
Hmm. Look out for those chimps with blades.